I'm on the hunt for some beaver this morning. There's no certainty in location, just the very obvious signs of their presence. There's a beaver nubbin there, another one over here. Somewhere they built a dam, as beavers do. Regular log jam or a dam? I can't tell entirely, that might just be natural. We're definitely getting closer. There's water running 4 foot above the actual creek. I'd say that's our problem right there. This thing's built 6 foot high. I didn't bring a chainsaw with me to get through some of the honeysuckle and shrubs. This is pretty big. One of the bigger dams I've ever seen, actually. I noticed it when I was spraying the fields around here because the water is literally backed up to the fields. It's practically an engineering marvel. 30 feet wide, I'm guessing. 5 to 6 feet high. It's backed up enough that the water is running around on the higher side and then hopping back in later. It's problematic because this will cut a channel eventually. If we get a few big rains, it'll almost cause this to meander the other way. Even if you get the beaver dam cleared after the fact, once that channel's cut, it'll keep cutting on big rain events, which we do get occasionally. I possess the motivation and the skill set to remove this. I don't know if I have the equipment. My mini excavator may not be big enough to pick up some of this stuff. Ultimately, you need a mid-sized track hoe, which we just don't own one. Of course, you've also got the secondary problem with beavers being much like the Amish. They rebuild quickly. They've even pre-cut some of these trees as an emergency fund. I'll consult the internet. Is it legal to kill beavers in Illinois right now?
Illinois, beavers are protected fur bearers, and their removal is strictly regulated by the
Of course, they're regulated. I thought this was America. It is illegal to destroy a beaver lodge? You'll never guess what. Trapping season ends tomorrow, of all days, and it's illegal to shoot them. All I heard was don't ask, don't tell. Anger. Tranquility. Anger. Tranquility. For now, I've got a load of seed coming, so I got to unload that, and then I have another side quest to do. It is supposed to be beautiful out today, other than a tad bit windy, so we've got to take care of this, and then we'll move back onto that project. This looks like my seed here. I was expecting that to take much longer than it did. It wasn't a big load of seeds. Sometimes if they come on a semi, I keep them out on the road so they don't run out mom and dad's yard. They're on a short truck, actually extremely convenient. We got a few burris beans. We've always planted a little bit of their either Don Mario or own personal soybean variety lineup. I know the Burris family very well, great people. And Griffin, our salesman, I went to college with them, so we give them a little business. Probably not as much as they'd like. I think that's the way most seed companies are, but it's really all we can afford to do and maintain competitiveness with other brands. I was just headed on my next mission as Jeff was trying to mow and he got his lawnmower stuck. A little too wet for that today, Jeff. I'd give him a hard time, but he mows my yard for free sometimes, so part of doing business. I think he's a little bit embarrassing. Getting a mower stuck is not a significant event at all. It's just a little hit in the pride. Dad does it all the time. Consider it a side quest to my side quest. I'm taking the semi up to Bulk Tech in Arcola to pick up our tanker trailer with its newly installed baffles. Gotta stop and use the bathroom here real quick. Got some spring breakers. An inch of rain disappeared pretty quick. It's great off around here. I'd say by this afternoon a guy might try some field work. There's a tractor running north of Humboldt, south of Arcola, making the dust. Glad I'm not looking for a van trailer. The tankers stick out in this lot. Now, there she is right there, the middle one. All right, we got her back. We gotta take it to Helena and get some water to clean out any debris left in it. There are quad tracks all over the place up here. Knowing this area, I guess this is Heritage Family Farms, the Green family. They're a pretty big outfit. They have a lot of land through here. Working up nice. There's probably 2,000 gallons of clean water in the tank. Taking her for a test drive on the way home. It doesn't even feel like the same tanker anymore to drive. Probably got 2,000 gallons in it. Maybe you can see the condensation line. There's enough of a temperature difference that it's actually running off the side. I mostly filled it just to rinse out any debris from the welding and cutting process. You can see they have one there, and then the second one is here. I don't know if they cut a hole. I don't think so. It's probably just from burning it on installation by welding on the inside. No, I'm not spraying today. It's definitely too windy. Although it would get the neighbors going if I just took the tanker around the block. Really stirs the pot a little bit on a day like today. It appears they cut a hole in the top to drop the parts in. The slits there have been welded back up. There it is right there, professionally installed baffle. Slows down the momentum of the water and keeps the truck from rocking back and forth as the water swishes around while driving. It improves the quality of the ride and the overall safety because that extra weight moving around, particularly if it's a lot, can hamper your driving and braking ability. I just lost my hat and my sunglasses at the same time. I have no idea where the sunglasses are. Okay, where could the sunglasses have possibly gone? That's insane. They're not in the tank. I know I closed the door and sealed it before they disappeared. They're on the other side of the trailer.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. They're going to send it off. I haven't checked it yet.
Have you told them that it's 30 years old?
Doesn't matter. I pay for it either way. You can use this one until that one gets back. I didn't think of that until about 5 minutes ago, and I would have sent it sooner. I think one of those church projects.
What are you trying to do?
Cut the middle out of that. Is it pounds on the inside?
Yeah, red is PSI.
What did you tell me?
6 or 7. It also depends on the tip, but I don't know what tip we have.
A little one. Here, help me like this.
That's some solid cast steel right there. You have to heat the whole thing till it's red and then start cutting. I've been doing this for 50 years. I really have no idea what that was I was a part of. I walked in on some sort of church project, according to Dad. I just replaced the gauges on the acetylene and the oxygen tank because they were 40 or 50 years old. Dad had a new set of gauges, Victor ones, in the box from like 20 years ago, 25 plus years ago, that my granddad, who passed away 20 years ago, bought him. They robbed the actual torch out of the case but didn't replace the gauges. So we decided it was probably time to replace the gauges. They were in bad shape. And for whatever reason, one of them didn't work. The oxygen one would not regulate pressure. It would blow by every time over 100 PSI. Dad just got one of the old gauges out for that project. He's definitely old school in the fact where he always thinks more is better. It wasn't cutting good enough because it was probably 1/2 inch thick cast iron, and he thought, let's just up the acetylene. Well, everything I've read said you don't want to exceed 6 to 7 PSI on acetylene, and then oxygen for cutting 35 to 45 psi. He runs it up to 55 and 10. I don't think it made any difference. The real secret, which he lacks a ton of this, is patience. You got to warm it up before you start cutting. And we probably need a new tip on the torch because someone accidentally broke off a cleaning brush in there. I'm not gonna say who. What can I say? Peer pressure works. This is one of our better farms, about 7 or 8 miles northeast of our main farm, 2 miles southwest of Mattoon. Dad and I checked it a little bit ago. It was close enough to disregard any of my plans for this afternoon and bring a field cultivator up. No clearing the Beaver Dam today. I'm giving it a 55% chance of being dry enough. I hardly met any traffic on the way here, and it looks like all of my harrows are unfolded and not hung up, so that's a good sign. The main indicator is if you can see decisively where the tractor ran. You're always going to be able to tell where it ran. If it's leaving a very distinct packed down soil, it's way too wet. This is borderline, and the dust coming off the top might push us towards working it. It's almost 80 degrees and windy right now, so it'll dry quick. I've got a couple other fields in the area. We'll get this one worked, and then if we can get the other two worked, that'd be great. If not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Is that a sign from God? Tile trencher goes by as we're working this field. The only spot that's been wet so far is this terrace bottom. It's pretty wet. Jeff is inbound right now to take over his tractor. I was just kind of the scout lead. One thing I went on record many times over the years was saying that I didn't believe tracts were worth the money. Over the last year or two, I started paying a lot more attention to tire slip and considering the compaction from the shear across the topsoil. I'm starting to think that I could have been slightly wrong on that. Don't be surprised in the next couple of years if you don't see 1 or 2 quad tracks pulling tillage on our farm based on what we're trying to get to minimize disturbance on top in terms of tractor weight. When it's perfectly dry, you don't notice it yet. We're always trying to push the envelope like many farmers and go maybe a day earlier than you should. When you see those 4 tire tracks across the field from your 2 sets of duals on both sides, makes you pucker up a little bit. There's something to be had there. Is it worth $75,000 to $80,000 for tracks? I don't know if we can quantify that. The one experience that really sold me on the quad track idea was pulling my wife's family strip till bar. They run a 9RX 640 and a 24-row shank style strip till machine. It was wetter than it should have been to be strip tilling that day, and the tractor was hardly slipping. I mean, it was putting all of that 640 horsepower down to the ground. If you tried to pull a wheel tractor in that condition, you'd be getting 10+% slip, whereas it was maxing out at 2 or 3%. There's something there, if not for just maximizing engine power. I look pretty good with some wind on it. Jeff called about 30 minutes after taking over. He informed us that his opinion on working the field had changed because some of the lower spots he ventured into where I had not been were much wetter than anywhere I had worked. He's an expert field cultivator operator, has been doing it for decades. If he says it's too wet, it's too wet. We may try again tomorrow afternoon, weather dependent. It's going to be warm and windy again. It's a cat meowing. Hello? Where are you? It's a very concerned cat. Where are you? What? Are you moving? Am I in the wrong spot? The wind's making the sound weird here. Hello? I have no idea where this cat is. Okay, I think you're back here. Hello? Are you trapped somewhere? Where are you? Where are you? How long have you been in here for? We've been looking for you for a week. Come on. I thought you were dead. Why didn't you meow or something? Also, how did you get in here? Come on. It's just me. Salem. This poor cat, we've not seen her in over a week. If this cat's been in this truck for as long as we've not seen her, it's been at least a week. Why aren't you, I've been giving you a lifeline right here, honey. Come on out. Yeah, so I have no idea what I was even talking about before that. That's crazy if she's been in there for a week. Unfortunate. And I've walked by this draper to go use my corner restroom numerous times. It must have been me just talking here that made her confident enough to meow. We've been in and out of the shed, I mean, probably 7 different times. And I don't know if because the cat is scared, she doesn't speak up. I thought she was dead, but she's not. She's just stuck somewhere for a really long time. Against my better judgment, I'm gonna run this video into day 2, which is tomorrow. We are gonna clear that beaver dam, the whole point of starting the video, and maybe work some ground tomorrow. Now that's a hustler right there. Didn't even go get food. She immediately went to check on her chickens over in the chicken coop. I respect that. She looks much fluffier already. I wonder if she was in there on her own choice. She looks fine. You've definitely been drinking and eating. Real quick, I have $1 million question for you all. What is the single most important machine in your life or on your farm? Is it a tractor, maybe? Planter? Tillage implement? Combine? There are a lot of possible answers depending on what you do. Regardless of what you pick, I bet you go to pretty impressive links daily before operating it. A diligent operator is probably looking at the oil level, making sure there's enough coolant, seeing if there's any error codes on the computer system, and generally looking everything over to make sure it's at tip-top shape for a long day of hard work. I know we all take pretty darn good care of our equipment, but I'd venture to say that we all overlook the most important machine in our operation, ourselves. And it doesn't quite give the simple error codes that maybe our tractors would to diagnose problems. That includes fatigue, headaches, cramps, you name it. There's a long list of things that your body can do when it's not been properly taken care of. When you're sweating through your shirt in the middle of July or pulling a late nighter during harvest, you're losing way more than just water. You're losing salt, up to 7 grams a day for some of us. And when you don't replace that sodium, that's when the leg cramps, the headaches, and the heavy fatigue start to settle in. It's your body showing error codes, just like our farm equipment. That's exactly why I switched to Element to help rehydrate my body. It's a tasty electrolyte drink mix that has everything you need and nothing you don't. We're talking a science-backed ratio of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 grams of magnesium in the packets. It's designed to actually facilitate those nerve impulses and keep your fluid balance right so you don't hit a wall at 2 p.m. The best part for me, there's absolutely 0 sugar. Most of the stuff you find at the gas station is loaded with coloring, artificial ingredients, and fillers that just lead to a sugar crash. Element has none of that junk. It's clean hydration that's perfectly suited for anyone, whether you're on a specific diet or you just want to feel better while you're working. Element is used by literally everyone, from Navy SEALs to pro athletes, but it can work just as effectively for you and I, whether we're in a tractor cab, in a grain bin, or in a workshop all day. It does not matter what you're doing, we all need electrolytes, and often we're short on them, and you'll know if you are. If you want to stay sharp and skip out on the muscle cramps, head over to drinkelement.com/aTrippyFarmer to get an awesome deal. Element will give you a free 8-sample starter pack to try out with your order. It's totally risk-free. If you don't enjoy it, you can get your money back. Go to drinkelement.com/aTrippyFarmer to try it out today. Change of plans again. The wind laid much more than I was expecting overnight, and I don't have these corn stalks with these March planted beans sprayed. I'd like to get them protected from a water hemp perspective because they will be coming up soon. It starts to limit our post-emerge options, and the water hemp, if you let it get momentum, can really do some damage. Yeah, I'm implying that weed competition is not good for soybeans, but primarily financial damage because a pre-emergence residual product like Tindovo is much cheaper than layering a tremendous amount of post-emerge products, and it's easier on your beans. Here is a bean that's been in the ground for about 5 or 6 days. Tiny little sprout on it. This little trooper's 1 3/4 inches in the ground. We will see some more growth progress today as it's going to be in the 80s, followed by some rain. I just want to get these sprayed so I don't have to lose any sleep over having to kill water hemp that's out of the ground. It's much harder. It's easier to just control the seed, not the emerged weed. Oh, I messed up. I might get 2 fields sprayed. It's getting too windy. Our neighbors have some wheat to the north, so I don't really want to spray this field. Now I've got all this extra chemical sitting on the tanker. It's less than ideal because you really don't want your chemical sitting in water. It'll start to degrade. The forecast shows us with a week at least of drying time, so I'm going to spray what I can within reason, try to remain ethical, and then shut her down. Here's something that's really not a big deal, yet also irritates me a little bit. The neighbor had some anhydrous custom applied by our beloved local cooperative. Our beans were already planted here before the anhydrous was put on. While they were putting on the anhydrous, they turned on our planted beans. We will let anyone turn on us at any time. It does not matter. You can turn on our ground unless our crops are planted. That's where the line ends. And they probably didn't do it maliciously. It was more negligence. When it rains on planted corn stalks, sometimes it's hard to tell it's planted. Just kind of frustrating. The beans will most likely come up fine, no problem, so I'm probably just being dramatic. It doesn't help that that's the co-op that also always kills our beans drifting and doing other things. Here comes someone in red, either Jeff or Dad. Dad. No clue where he's going. He may not even know. Gee whiz. I'm just having one of those days. Everything that can possibly slow me down is. That's okay. We've got a mostly happy and healthy family. Oh, they've got corn off the top. Could be worse. You could be the guy that loaded that car. There's some ammonia going on. I hope they booked that back in January and aren't paying cash right now. I've heard $900 to $1,000 a ton. My legal knowledge is limited, especially with wildlife. There is a small possibility I'm about to commit a crime. Maybe. And it's raining. Go figure. I've got the preliminary work out of the way, close up next to the bank. Now to do the stuff you sickos want to watch. help for now until the beavers reestablish a new dam. Katie and I think this has been here for a long time just based on how much silt is built into the bank. They've already got some logs pre-cut along here so they can just set up shop if they're even still around. They may have built this and moved on many moons ago. Oh well, done for now. Katie drove this drainage creek up and down twice, found 3 more beaver dams. I was preparing to just dip out of here until I realized this hillside's too wet, so I gotta take this off anyways. Not really. If I was leaving, it'd be chained down. I was gonna drive to the farthest south one, and I guess we'll start with the north too, because I'm gonna have to unload this. Someone defend the beavers here. Is this a beaver dam or just a log jam that's backed up? Those are exposed roots that have rotted? Not sure. Could it be that a log jam turns into a beaver dam? Kind of like when I see a nice cozy bed, I take a nap. I was just about to turn the camera on and say I got the job done, but I don't want to jinx myself before I get out of here. Didn't even get the camera turned on. I got stuck in this waterway. And they're pretty good. What's a positive spin on this? Tie down practice. Yep, just extra tie down practice. I'm not gonna strap it down until I get to the road, I guess. The good deal is I've got a lot of chains and it's pretty much impossible to be stuck when I have a mini excavator. One of those days. And the wind's calmed down, so I probably need to go finish spraying. Let's get out of here. We could give a push from behind with the mini. Is that a terrible idea? Probably. To keep the ground firm. Obviously not. And this isn't a cover crop, it's even better, it's sod. Except for where it's ruts now, 6 inches deep. That wet spot has to be a tile bubbling up. I would presume it's related to this wet spot and then also to the wet spot in the other terrace. I'm sure they're going that way. I dug a bunch right here on the north side of it last fall and I didn't find anything. I might have just been in the wrong spot. If it stays dry long enough, and I don't think it's going to with rain in the forecast almost immediately, I'm gonna dig it up and figure out what's going on so I don't have to look at that outside my window. Oh, I suppose everything turned out all right. If this is the worst day I have, I'm living a pretty good life. One load out of the truck here and we're done. Spraying crossways is really not that bad with functioning height sensors other than the squeaky door handle. I had enough of that. I guess we're getting this one rained in quick. I haven't even been paying attention to the forecast or the radar. Started sprinkling with 40 acres to go. I figured I'll run till there's no dust coming, and there's still dust off my tires when I left. You sure can get a lot done with your boom 40 inches in the air running 20 miles an hour. I've got no clue if the product hit the ground, but it sure came out of the nozzles nice. It's almost poetic. Raining as I'm quitting. I ran out of solution as I was crossing the finish line. Everything lined up in the end. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I sure hope you enjoyed it, or maybe took a nap, whatever works for you. I appreciate you watching. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!